Hey there, welcome to Architects 360, and I'm your host, Michael Giannotti. I'm one of the technical architects here in the Philadelphia MTC, and today we are broadcasting from the Innovation Arena. There we go, Arena. I had to look over to Rich over here. And you can too, by the way. So we're broadcasting in 360 degrees. We're going to be having a roundtable discussion today. Each one of us has a topic to cover, but to get started, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. And today we have
Todd first.
He's never last.
Around security, infrastructure, all that stuff.
Very good.
Rich Ross, solution architect here at the MTC, focusing on Azure and application development.
Bill Emmert, solutions architect covering the data platform, big data, BI, and SQL Server. Big data.
Tariq Hamid, I'm a solution architect for Unified Communication.
And he's the only one today carrying a...
Well, I'm carrying a Windows phone. This works for me.
Yay!
He has a Windows phone too, so.
Right,
he's
we
still
haven't
got his.
converted
I have
yet.
about 10 at home, and they
Sitting
all
around.
still work. There you go.
There we go.
Alright.
So we each have a topic that we're going to talk about. We have folks also following us right now in the background here live on Periscope, as well as Facebook Live. So if anybody is watching live right now, if you have comments, questions, shout outs, Stephen is monitoring and can serve those up to us as we go. But we're going to go ahead and get started. And today to kick it off, since he's never last, he's always first.
That's right.
Todd first.
Thank you, Mike. So the last few weeks we've had a lot of security discussions with customers, and we can always talk about protecting their identity and protecting the device and the data and the apps, and it's all good. And there's layers, and it's very seamless. But the focus in the last few ones have just been on almost 0-day attacks. It's almost been that's all they want to talk about.
That quick.
Yeah, 'cause I think they feel they're covered on almost everything else. So what's interesting is we, as a company, have been doing a ton around that. So we have, first thing we have, believe it or not, just in the box, just Windows Defender has this cloud-based protection, right? So if it doesn't have a signature for a file and you have cloud-based protection on, it sends a hash of that file up to the cloud and says, has anyone seen anything bad about that? And what we can do is look across Office 365 and Azure and say, has anyone else seen that up here? Or a variant of that, like something that's close to that. And so we have examples where we can show no one on the planet has a signature, but we can see something that's close to that, and in real time we can basically block it.
Wow.
So that's kind of table stakes. Good starting point, but then the other parts are around, as you know, Office 365 has advanced threat protection, where a lot of the attacks come through email. So if you get sent an email and it either has an attachment or a phishing link or something, we'll check the link, and if it's an attachment, we'll use this new technical term called detonate. We'll take the file, we'll put it in a VM.
We have a detonate chamber.
You will detonate it with a Windows phone, maybe, and we'll see what that file's doing, and we'll look at it to see if it's suspicious or not, and we'll let it through or not. And then there's something called Windows Defender Advanced Threat Protection, which if your system, my nice trusty system here, say everything gets through, it's a great 0-day, nothing catches it. At the minimum, what we'll do is this turns into a flight recorder, and we'll start literally saying this file came down and started doing these things. And we're not saying we're not stopping anything yet, but basically all that data goes right to the cloud, and we give someone basically a flight recorder view of the world. And then if there was a file, they can take that and detonate it in the same wonderful detonation chambers that we have in our
Very
cloud.
nice.
So a lot of detonation going on.
Wow.
A lot of cleanup needs to be done after the detonations, but what's nice is the scale that we have. No one has anything like that across the board. Not at that scale, not at a global scale. So through Office 365, Azure, and just your clients, we have all that going on.
Now all we need
Very
is
cool.
that for Skype.
Yeah,
Where you get those phony phone calls, the spam phone calls, and the guys
Can we
threatening
detonate
you.
them?
Sure.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We need to detonate the do not
Detonate the
call
device.
We have something like ignore button. That's your detonation.
Yes. There we go.
But we want to talk
Beautiful.
to people. Yeah. So what?
Very cool.
It's good is that's what customers are interested in, and we actually have the solutions out there. So come on in to hear the story.
Yeah, so the follow-up on that call to action is
Come to the Innovation Arena and we will lead you to a room where we can talk about those across the board. So
Yeah.
whether it's
Yeah.
client, in the cloud, we got it all covered.
Yeah. And we
Awesome.
can show you Surface Hub too.
That's right.
Very nice.
Always throwing the surface.
Always throw the
Always,
Surface
always,
Hub in there.
always.
Very good. Rich, what do you got for us today?
So I wanted to spend a few minutes just talking about the space that we're in here. So as
Nice.
architects, we do solutions, but last week we were architecting and putting this trust environment together. which is,
Erecting.
yeah, getting this put in place. So it was a lot of fun doing that.
So you
Can I ask
got
a
you had to
question?
physically
Yeah.
put this together.
Where
Yeah.
did
All
this
of us.
come from? What country built such a
Oh,
wonderful
yeah.
thing?
Apparently it was from Canada.
Canadians.
Canadians.
Canadians did a great job. Thank
Now,
you.
does this double for like MMA training and pull-ups? And...
Yeah, we're gonna do that America's Ninja set
There
up
you
in
go.
here on the weekends. Yeah.
Awesome.
That or the we're gonna put some lights on it and put a sound system, and we'll get a band in here to get to throw some kind of a party or whatever.
I
But,
like that. So, but anything else about the space? So you
Oh,
put
yeah,
this
sorry.
up.
yeah. So
What are the things you're putting in?
So the space is meant to show off, and it's taken from the guys out in Minneapolis who started this, Todd Van Derden and a number of the other architects out there, who basically were trying to get across the point that Microsoft is really innovative, and that we're doing all these really cool and great things with technology and things
Yeah.
that are available. And he has a number of prototypes for different applications that are built out there. And what we wanted to do was kind of replicate that here for our customers. So
Nice.
it's a chance for customers who come through the MTC to get, in addition to taking a tour of the MTC, which we typically give them, to get a chance to look at some of the various applications and prototypes that use a lot of the more personal computing things that are in Windows 10, for example, things like touch or get gesture.
Yep.
We have some connects up on some of the machines here,
Yep.
so as we start rolling in some of the prototype applications, Connect is one of those things that we'll be able to show off and take advantage of.
And I did see we have an application live here.
Yeah.
Which I see all kinds of little
Blinky lights.
blinky lights and stuff. What is this here?
So that's our, it's a prototype of a social engagement wall.
Okay.
And it's meant to, in this case, this one's showing Azure, but it's basically looking for people talking about Azure on various social connections, whether it's Facebook or Twitter,
Right.
or even in forums, and then assigning, since that's a sentiment map, assigning some kind of a sentiment based on the text that's in there.
Very nice.
So if you were to click on one of those green lights there, you would be able to, on the right-hand side, a panel would pop out that would show the actual content
Really?
of that text. Yeah.
So if I come over here and I say, this looks kind of like our...
There you go.
Oh.
And you see all the little green happy faces just to the...
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
So you can actually, if you were to touch that, you could change that. So if it was a neutral sentiment, let's say, like, well,
There's
somebody
the
was
third
really...
one. Neutral.
Well, and I can even interact with it, retweet, forward.
Yeah.
What's great about this, though, is
Okay.
when you're looking at this, we're utilizing machine learning to make decisions on whether it's a positive
Yeah.
or negative sentiment or neutral, and machine learning's got to learn.
Yeah.
So we can go in there and change the sentiment based on what our interpretation of the tweet or message is.
Very
Because
cool.
when somebody says, Azure is really bad, right? It depends on how they're using the word bad. And it
Right.
may be based on a couple of tweets that are going on
Yeah.
that we'll be able to determine what the conversation is.
So,
Yeah.
quick question. So what powers this right here?
So that's what we're seeing right now is sitting on top of, I believe it's Power BI that
Yeah.
we're looking at on top of it, but it also has a CRM component underneath it. So some
Yeah.
of the dynamic CRM.
Nice.
Very nice.
But what it also gives you is a connection. So if I've seen it in a couple tweets come up where it actually says, offers like a suggestion or something to that effect, and it gives you a link back into
Right.
CRM so you can do something with that tweet as well that goes back into that
Very
application.
cool.
So.
And then the last thing, what else do we have coming in? I know I see the Emperor's chair over here.
Yeah, the Emperor's chair.
Another Canadian device.
Oh,
Another
right.
And
Canadian
I just want to
device.
say the Innovation Alley in Minneapolis is close to
Canada.
Thank you.
Yes. We're seeing
Go
a little
figure.
bit on the show, right?
We're seeing this trend.
It's clean air.
It's clean air.
Clean air,
It's
it's
the
clean
clean
living.
air. There you go.
So the Emperor chair is going to be really cool when you come through and look at that. We're actually in the process right now of getting an IoT application in there
Uh-huh.
where you can actually be driving a race car
Right.
and see the
Oh.
telemetry coming off of the race car on one of the 3 screens that we have while you're running around the track.
Wow, that's
I
very
can't wait
cool.
to do that.
Very cool. Yeah.
Wait, so when
I'll
we're driving, can we give hand signals?
Yeah, that's Yeah.
And then I saw we have a couple others. Anything else planned at this point, or?
So we definitely have a patient station, so
Nice. For
an
healthcare?
application for healthcare, so that basically looking at how you do various movements and rehabbing of things. An updated version to the one that we previously had in the back there. We also have a retail kiosk. So
Nice.
being able to understand how close you are and change messages to draw you in, and then be able to
Nice.
interact with those things of different retail items that are out in front there, and present content to you based on that. So,
Very cool.
yeah, a lot of, and that's the beauty about the space here. So it's always going to be evolving. So those are the first couple things we'll throw out here.
Yeah.
As we do more proof of concepts, we'll keep going and updating.
We can show that live sometime, right?
I think we should.
Yeah.
We should do a 360
Yeah, that would be
with
nice.
the space when
Yeah,
it's put together. the next day.
absolutely. Very cool. So this is going to be a happening spot.
This is going to be the place.
All right.
And if you're a customer and you want to come in and take a look at it,
You
Come on in.
Come on
You
in.
can even do some pull-ups while you're here.
Absolutely.
Work on your cardio, your physical.
Don't tell David that.
No. So Bill, what do you got on tap?
So going back to what Rich was saying about IoT, and we're working on a dashboard. So in our facility here, we've created these little IoT devices,
Yep.
and we're using it for monitoring temperature, humidity, sound, and motion in the rooms.
Mhm.
And what we're doing is we're applying it against the schedule of the room, so we can see when a room is scheduled and when there's activity in the room. And when a room hasn't been scheduled and there's activity in the room,
Right.
we want to know that and be able to respond to certain alerts, like the temperature in the room's getting too hot, or there's motion in the room and we want to know who's in the room
Right.
and what they're there for, just so that way we can make sure that we're, getting credit
Mhm.
for the facility, because the facility, is not cheap to run.
Sure.
And we want to make sure that we're getting the visibility that we get. The challenge with IoT is when you're creating these devices, right, and you're buying off the shelf items and
Little
putting them together,
Arduinos and
and you leave them around,
sensors.
people pick them up.
Yeah.
We're finding that the soldering needs to be a little better than just barely connected.
Sure.
So we've been going through iterations of redoing the soldering. We're trying new wiring and all of that. And probably the biggest challenge is making sure that the device is working correctly.
Yeah.
Getting the data up into Azure and being able to report on that data is not that difficult. It's making sure that the data that you're getting is accurate.
That's good. Yeah. Garbage in, garbage out.
And you still have to shape the data. You still have to manipulate it based on, the way you want to look at it. Do you want to look at the temperature every second? Because these devices send us every 2 or 3 seconds, they're sending us a reading. Well, we don't care every second whether the temperature is changing. What we're looking at is the average over, a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
In our case, we decided that every 15 minutes, right? So we summarize it and we analyze it that way. One of the things that Rich and I are working on is Rich is actually doing a web portal page,
Right.
and consuming the data through a web interface, and I'm using Power BI to mimic exactly what he's going to be doing, and being able to show customers, the effort that it took us to get it into Power BI and the amount of code that you had to go in and create, in the web portal. One is not better than the other, or one is not the right place, over the other. It's a choice,
Right.
right? And we're, going to give the customers the opportunity to see that.
Can I add one thing to that? Imagine IoT devices in people's bodies and zero-day attacks. That's what a customer said to me last week.
Healthcare, I'm assuming.
Zero-day attacks on IoT devices inside of your body.
So really, this whole
so
security.
it
So are we
gets-
gonna have
that's a whole
Windows
other
Defender
level.
Body Edition, or?
Well, the short story is it's running Windows 10, and hopefully those devices are running Windows 10 because you get the whole security
Sure.
stack that can help with that. But to Bill's point, there's a lot going on with these devices.
Yeah.
That's what triggered that one. So
Yeah, and I think that's one of those areas you see so much. It's like just pouring ahead rapidly, and it's thinking about the implications, right?
It's not,
The
this
scenarios.
stuff has been around for years,
Yeah.
right? These machines have been giving off telemetry for years.
Yep.
But the amount of data that comes off of those things, people have not had the capabilities of ingesting that and being able to analyze it as quickly, right? Unless they spent millions of dollars to do it.
Yep.
Now we're giving them a less expensive way to do it.
Bill, you mentioned that the people are touching those devices and you're getting some kind of a bad data out of those. So why don't we put some cover or some sort of a casing around it?
Well, we have some of them have casings around it. The main purpose of having them sitting out raw
Yeah.
is so customers get to see what a device looks like.
Okay, that's
Right?
And they
And
ask
say, look, we
questions.
put these together
Exactly.
through,
Okay.
off-the-shelf stuff, and we're not having to go out and spend hundreds of dollars
Right.
to be able to get that information.
Right.
And oftentimes we'd be in there with an engagement and talking about something completely different, and this, it's, oh, what's this?
Right.
And now you're
And
heading down
then
a path
open the
discussing
conversation,
IoT.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Maybe we should just put a sign, and you can look with your eyes and not with your fingers.
The thing, getting back though to kind of that, somebody getting onto it, to Todd's point, like they were asking about in the body, but I think we've already seen the implications that as we're increasingly connected, and these are not just signaling out, but have the ability to take in, right, and receive calls. You had those, just this past year, you had those, some of the automobiles, right,
yeah.
that were data connected, and they're using IoT to transmit back to, to the different manufacturers and stuff, your oil pressure and things, where they can call you and, hey, you need a checkup or this or that.
Mhm.
But they had some people remotely to show that it could be done, take control of those automobiles.
Yeah, I mean, that was a concern. That was a big concern last summer. I was reading about it while I was on vacation because I was out in Michigan, and of course, that's a big automotive area.
Yeah.
And it was all over the papers. The response was the automotive industry felt that you're not going to drive by
Yeah.
someplace, some guy standing there and automatically go, I'm going to kill your car, right? That's not necessarily where the hacking is going to go.
No,
Right.
but I think the
James Bond
concern
movie.
Yeah,
They
right.
can do that.
for our customers, though, as they're looking at IoT and how they can implement, one of the concerns has got to be, how do I secure this environment,
Right.
Yep.
right?
Right.
Just like and it comes down to everything else. It's risk and reward, and but we're
Yeah,
fascinating.
we're moving at
stuff.
fast pace and,
Yep.
constantly having to make changes. You don't think of some things and then somebody goes out, takes advantage of it,
Yep.
and, you wish that wasn't happening, but it does.
Tariq,
What up?
what up? What up? What do you got for us today?
So Todd was talking about the detonation chamber and all that, right?
Uh-oh.
So that we know
Boom.
that comes from the cloud, right?
Yes.
Office 365. We don't have to worry about if you have something on-prem, but we do have on-prem solutions. Skype for Business, we still have a huge customer base running Skype for Business on-prem. So we still have cumulative updates for them, and I just want to ensure and letting people know that you need to look up all the cumulative updates periodically. We give them out, we make them available quarterly. Every
Yeah.
quarter there's a new update, comes with a new feature. So this July is the month for the cumulative update for Skype for Business Server. There are a couple of new features that are coming out which are
Okay.
really good. So one of them is busy over busy, or busy on busy feature, which means, and we all
You're
use
really
Skype,
busy.
right? We all use Skype. If you're in a session and somebody IM you or somebody calls, you still get a pop-up.
Sure.
So sometimes it's annoying
Yeah.
to people. They don't want to get it if you're in a meeting.
Right.
So that's what busy over busy solution
Gotcha.
feature means. That if you're in a session, they will go to the voicemail, or you will not get the notification pop up.
Cool.
Oh,
It's still happening on
and that's
the
an
online.
option you can select.
It's going to happen automatically on the server
Okay.
side. Yeah. But if you're online, again to the detonation feature time, everything is online available already, so you don't have to worry about any kind of cumulative update.
Yeah.
But if you're on-prem, you need to do that. So that's one of the features. The second one is what we call VBSS, which means video-based screen sharing.
Oh yeah.
Right? So today, when you do screen sharing, we use RDP protocol, which is horrible, to be very polite, put it in context.
Horrible for that purpose.
It takes, it was good in the
Yeah.
beginning when we had the OCS and Link 2010, but not today. So people complain about it. And so video-based screen sharing is basically using video codec, the way we make the video call. It's much robust, much adaptive
Yeah.
kind of codec. So It's available online, and you can try it out. As soon as you do the screen sharing, it starts automatically right away, within a second.
Wow.
And that's the power of the video-based sharing. So it's going to happen on-prem when you do the cumulative update.
Very
July
nice.
cumulative update. What else? The third one is the offline messages. So it's happening in online already. If you see somebody offline, you can still send them a message, and when they come online, they'll see the notification pop up. So you still see an instant message or some missed call notification on your Outlook, but now you will see on the link side itself, because chances are your Outlook is not open at that point, and you're just logging into the Skype client. So that's some of the features that are part of the cumulative update. What else? So these again, same for the Link 2013 server base. If you have that, we have plenty of new features coming out. So look for the cumulative update.
And what client
Nice.
should you be running to stay up to date with Skype?
Pro Plus.
Oh, okay.
Office 365 Pro,
Pro
Plus.
Plus.
Always.
I just wanted to make sure.
Click to
Always.
Hey, with
Run.
the screen sharing, is there a benefit for customers that have a lower bandwidth, one versus the other?
I would say yes, because again, it's an adaptive codec for the video sharing. So based on your bandwidth, it's going to go up and down. And also if you recall your content sharing session, you can maximize the window.
Yeah.
You can see the content, but you want to get close to it, right? Or make it full-blown screen. With the RDP protocol, we weren't able to do that. But with this VBSS, absolutely, just like video, you can expand that to the full screen. Get rid of all the Chrome and hear contents. On the
Nice.
screen. So it's an adaptive codec.
That's good for us
H.264.
blind people that need to be
Yeah.
able to see the screen.
Right.
I was going to say that's me.
Right. And last but not least is the transcription support for the broadcast.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming in the second half, but
Yeah.
you will see in a month or two, you will see some updates coming out.
Very cool.
So automatic transcription and the closed captioning.
Very nice. So mine's pretty simple,
Yeah.
but
Mike's back from vacation, so
I'm back from vacation.
he comes back with information.
So I'm not, I will tell you, I was unplugged for the most part. I did not bring a computer. I brought my phone. And I was asked to do several tasks that involve VMs, which I had to tell people, no, because I can't.
Good.
So I was unplugged, but I did see one piece of news come across the wire. Mark Cashman from the Office 365 team put this out. And I just want to encourage people to go get it. So if you have an iOS device, iPad or iPhone,
Tariq, you and I are out.
you guys are out.
Sorry.
And you want to be able to take your Office 365 SharePoint experience mobile. It was out in preview, but it's now been released. You can get iOS. You can get the SharePoint app for iOS, which will give you access to all your SharePoint goodies
Okay.
Nice.
throughout all of SharePoint land online.
Well, he mentioned iPads.
But it's just to confirm,
Yeah. Don't have that either.
the focus is Office 365 SharePoint world, right?
365. So,
Okay.
and again, that just
That's awesome.
continues to bring the point home that, look, there are very real focuses between, for on-prem. On-prem is really around the legacy, those custom apps that are not readily given to move to the cloud, that you have to completely rewrite. And just, there is a time and place for on-prem, but our investment and where it's going to come
Right.
first, and in some cases where it will only ever reside is for cloud focus. So SharePoint Online and having access to it with the iOS app, that's what it's focused on. But it's out today. If you have a 365 account, you can grab it, log in, and I did. It was pretty cool. I'd grab it, but I'd show you. But Steve,
And to your point, all the things I mentioned, they're already available in the cloud. So
yeah.
first we're putting out in the Office
Cloud,
365,
cloud.
then we're doing it for the on-prem.
It's good to have you back, though.
Yeah.
It's good that you didn't get eaten by any sharks.
No shark eating. So I'm intact. All
Awesome.
my fingers.
Because
and
it
toes.
is Shark Week anyway.
It is Shark
right.
Week. I did see that right before we left. I flipped on the
That's a good
TV the night before we left, and they had one of the advertisements. It was kind of surreal. It was one of those things they showed great whites going through circus hoops and all kinds of stuff.
Right.
And then they were like, my wife goes, "What is this?" And Shark Week. So yeah. So that's it. So any last comments about anything?
Do we have any questions, live audience?
I don't think we have any questions. Just curious onlookers that have tuned in. So again, moving forward, as we broadcast these or as we record these sessions, for posting, we'll always have live. We'll run a live simultaneous on Periscope. Facebook Live, people can ask questions, make comments, shout outs. We encourage that. But for that, this is Mike,
Todd.
Rich?
Bill.
Tariq.
here from the Philadelphia MTC with Architects 360, bidding you have a great day. Take care, and as always, ciao.
See ya.
Oh, and sign off.
Yeah.